Hey guys, what's going on? I'm at the Caveman Q here again for Paleo Palmer Island. I'm at thecaveman.com. Today's question is, can your bench press determine your politics? I'm the caveman. And the answer is, do you even vote, bro? Now, this video came about because a friend of mine linked an article on Facebook that said, science has shown that weak men are more likely to be socialists. And I had to see what the deal was with that. In doing so, I came across a surprising amount of literature on the interplay of physiology and evolutionary psychology and the role of politics. That being said, two names in particular kept popping up. An Aaron Sell and Michael Bang Peterson. Just bang, bro. The study that was at hand in the article that I first saw, well, it didn't actually cover that topic. The article was actually about an older study that Bang Peterson had done. The newer study focused on upper body strength and views on war. And somewhat unsurprisingly, those with more upper body strength tended to lean towards more militaristic views. Other research done in Britain compared people's desire for muscularity. So those who actually want to go to the gym and build more muscle, again, tended to have more right-wing and militaristic views. Now, going back to the study that they were talking about in the article, but wasn't the actual study they looked into, or quoted at least, was one that Sell and Peterson did back in 2013, where they compared upper body strength to people's views on social welfare. What they found was that wealthier men who were also strong tended to be against social programs, whereas those who were equally wealthy but not as strong tended to be favorable towards them. Now, conversely, those who were not wealthy, those who had less wealth, if they were strong, then they did favor social programs, versus those who were not strong generally tend to be less ambivalent. So to quickly summarize that, if you were wealthy and strong, you were against it. If you were poor and weak, you were generally against it. However, if you were wealthy and weak, or poor and strong, you generally tended to favor it. But if that wasn't enough in terms of wacky ways they compare the human body to people's ideology, they also have done galvanic skin tests, which is basically a measurement of an electrochemical response to a stimuli. And they've also done an interesting one on blood glucose, where they fed subjects either a sugary soda or an artificially sweetened one. And what they found was that those who received the sugary beverage tended to be less favorable towards social programs, whereas those who received the artificially sweetened ones were more likely to be favorable towards them. The idea was that the low blood sugar response caused the body to not have enough energy, and as such a greater priority was placed on resources. So, because you got an artificially sweetened one, your body is expecting sugar, doesn't get it, and says, where's my energy? I need stuff. Please, give me stuff. But to make it even more interesting, they did a second half to that experiment, and what they compared was whether, once given those resources, whether they'd be charitable with them. And the thing was, the people that got the artificial sweetener at first were not more charitable. In fact, they actually hoarded it a little bit more. Super squirrely stuff. Having gone through all of that, from an evolutionary framework, some of it does kind of make sense. If resources are scarce, you're likely going to want to hold on to them more. If they're not, then you're not going to care as much. Same thing with the upper body strength. The idea there was that those who had more upper body strength were better fighters. And if you were a better fighter, you were less likely to care if you went to war because you expected to get home. Now, the idea is that while we had that physiological adaptation which changed our psychology, today, because physical strength in and of itself is no longer the barometer by which we judge success, it no longer applies the same way. But because of our history, our mind is still trained to work that way. Now, do I really believe that all of this is accurate? Probably not. First of all, the biggest problem is the way they measured upper body strength was by way of flexed bicep. And sure, if we're talking about times when we had to carry around a sword, then yeah, maybe that's kind of beneficial. But anybody who's ever been to a bodybuilding gym and then been to an MMA gym knows that the size of your muscles does not correlate to your ability to fight. Plenty of people have come over from a bodybuilding gym to Long Island MMA and had a very uphill curve. It was no better for them just because they were that much bigger than anybody else. So unfortunately today, upper body strength is not a good barometer. But historically, maybe with carrying the sword and carrying and pulling a bow, yeah, maybe, possibly. But is that going to be the defining barometer as to whether or not this research is accurate? Is it interesting? Yeah. Are the conclusions that were in the original article accurate? No, because they didn't even base it on the current research. Nor did they even get the authors of the study right. And he linked to another article that did have the proper authors, which made it a little bit easier for me to find the real studies. Either way, the conclusions that were drawn in the original article were more clickbait than anything else. But the fact that this research is being done this in-depth is kind of weird. So, your biggest takeaways are that, bench press probably won't determine what your politics are. The evolutionary underpinnings, the physiology of it, and the amount of research that's actually being done on the subject is kind of interesting, but I really think that Aaron Sell and Michael Bang Peterson are kind of stretching at this point. The research isn't really that in-depth, but there is more than you would think out there on this topic. So if you want to get a little bit more information on that, I'll put the links to those studies that I looked at down in the description. It's a whole bunch of them, as well as the original article that inspired the video. But if you want a little more information on how things like this happen, about how fake news gets spread in the sciences, take a look at this video over here. Either way though, guys, hope this helped you out. You know what to do. Like and subscribe down below. Share it with your friends. Head over to Instagram and Twitter and follow me at Mike the Caveman, or on Facebook at Paleo Problem Island, and of course, over MikeTheCaveman.com. That being said, have a wonderful rest of your day. Go bench. Probably just squat or deadlift. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow.
Serious? Are you a guy? Or are you a
I'm the caveman.